Our next reader, and most likely our final reader, is Vicky Grove. Vicky Grove, come on up, please.
James, if you will take my slot, I think I went
over
the first one.
No, I'm fine. I can't access my music because it's in the computer that's refusing to cooperate.
You're trying to do everything at once, I see.
So you want to read then?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, all right.
For a minute, I shouldn't take very long.
Okay, that's fine. Vicky Grove, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. I just thought, I got to, down in the boot heel, I just was thinking about Rosemary's thing. I got to visit. One of the real great things about writing for kids is you get invited by school districts sometimes to come and talk about writing in the schools, and I got to go to every school in the boot heel. And I happened to be researching a book, and in this book I wanted a boy to be shot by, accidentally in the woods by hunters who weren't being careful enough. And I asked every school group that in New Madrid and that area, I asked every group if they had anybody in their family who had ever been accidentally killed in a hunting accident. Every child in every class raised their hands. I'll never forget that. So that gave me good research for that book, you know, because I thought, would I be on, does it happen so seldom that I shouldn't write about it? But I think it happens pretty often, maybe in our woods. Imogene and I always wear hunter orange when we walk, I know that. A terrible thing happened at Coal Camp, I want to say a couple of years ago, but the way it's been longer than that, I'm sure. Everything is going so fast for me right now. Triple murder in Coal Camp. And everything is about me. I feel like I'm saying I too much here, but I was judging a dramatic contest at the high school in Coal Camp the week before the young woman who was shot was killed. And so I will never get her face out of my mind because I'd seen her read this beautiful poem that she'd written, and then she sang a song, and then the next week she was dead, killed with her grandparents in a robbery. Or probably a robbery, nobody knows why. But a man broke into their small house in Coal Camp, shot the grandparents, and shot this 16-year-old granddaughter who was living with them. And there are theories in my neck of the woods, south of Coal Camp, about what happened. This comes under the heading of gossip, a little bit. But on the other hand, somebody used the word, a couple of poems have had karma in them, and people talk about the graves along Coal Camp Bluff, where the Osage buried their dead, and prehistoric Indian tribes, the woodland tribes, left graves along there. Again, I'm thumbing through here trying to find the poem that I kind of wrote about this. My friend Diane Peck, who writes for several newspapers and is real interested in history and knows a lot of the history of Benton County and the Indian graves and the woodland tribes and so forth, she said she has trouble. Her grandfather was an Osage, and she has trouble getting her mind around the fact that people take the artifacts from those graves now and feel free to put them in their personal collections or trade them on the internet or whatever. So one morning she just said something to the effect that she thought maybe Indian spirits sometimes were behind some of the stuff that happens out in the woods where we are. And I wrote a poem where I kind of, my husband and I always work at the camp Blue Sky in the summer at the college. That's for, oh, it's wonderful. It's so much fun. It's for like 2nd through 8th graders basically. And our theme the summer that my mother was, my dad had just died. Our theme, oh, here it is. Our theme that year was Leonardo da Vinci. So I was thinking of Leonardo da Vinci, and I was thinking of the old Indian graves, and I was thinking of the artifacts, and I wrote a poem that kind of got all of that stuff into it, I think, but I may not be able to find it. I've only written 2 poems in this long poems in this journal, and I thought I could turn to both of them. James, will you give me 2 more seconds? It's got, maybe it's here. Yeah, here it is. I'm sorry, it was on page 1. That was too obvious, So Imogene and I are walking by the creek, and these were the thoughts that came into my head as I thought back to these murdered people. And maybe this is too honest, too speculative, too gossipy, I don't know. It rained more than I thought last night. The little pools my dog and I kick through each morning have been taken by the creek, gathered back like children, briefly strayed. I might have just found an arrowhead. It's hard to say since rocks knock hard against themselves within this rushing current, doing stonework that mimics the artistry of the woodland tribes, or I should say, since nature doesn't mimic man, only itself. The stone-like shell of the red-eared turtle I just saw, for example. There are woodland graves at the top of this bluff. I knew a man who plundered them and just last year was shot in a robbery. He and his family killed by someone looking to steal his trove, or else by vengeful spirits. Depends on who you ask around here. I say it was most likely a little of both, spirits and greed. Leonardo wrote that waters trapped without movement become brackish in the same way that the mind without constant imagining loses its strength and shine. My dog cares nothing for history. She's presently nosing the small bushes, nuzzling tangled roots, hoping for field mice, not out of greed, but from imagination, or its kissing cousin, anticipation. Her wet stomach from her eager waiting rubs across each dusty rock and brings the umber glowing back. I look up from these layered stones and see the only sun we have come sticking fingers through the line of sycamores there across the distance, painting this crazy old Missouri the colors of Renaissance Tuscany. I'm sorry if you think I was bad about the murder thing. This is just how we talk in the woods.